I get up and I meditate for about 11 and a half minutes.
If human beings were able to create more contained challenges for themselves to overcome their inner insecurities, that's the greatest game you can play.
People come and go, and you got to be committed to protecting your energy, protecting your vision, and not allowing someone else to dim your light.
Need motivation?
Watch the top 10, Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 and 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 and 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Lewis Howes, and my take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Believe in yourself.
You have to believe in yourself, because I believe that
what a law.
I believe that self-doubt is the killer of every dream. And so many of us die with our dreams in the graveyard. We don't have dreams we have imagination, and we don't manifest the imagination. We don't become the alchemists of our life and create something beautiful, our talent, our gift, our purpose, because of doubt. And if we believed in ourselves more, we would be ruthless in our actions on creating it, or at least going for it. So I'd say the law of believing in yourself.
Rule number 2, meditate.
Walk me through, what is your daily routine? What are the habits that you get into that are nice and simple, like your goal for getting off the couch?
For me, it's simple. I get up and I meditate for about 11 and a half minutes. I've got an 11 and a half minute guided meditation
specific.
that I used when I was a sophomore in college. And right when I started using it, I broke these world records. I started getting better grades, which was not that hard because I was a D student, so I started getting C's. I just felt like I was in alignment with who I was in the world when I was doing that. I felt like my health was on point and everything was coming my way. And I think it's because I got grounded in the morning. And so I would listen to this guided meditation every morning for a few years in college, and then somehow I stopped because I felt like I was in a groove and I didn't need it anymore. And I stopped doing it for about 5 years. And there was a lot of ups and downs during those 5 years. So I just got back on it a few years ago. And again, it's picked up that having a sense of grounded in the morning. And I remember yesterday I was actually freaking out. I have this speaker coach. I have this big presentation I'm giving in front of 4,000 people at a conference in a week. And I'm talking about a topic I've never talked about before. And usually when I speak or present at an event, I'm very confident. I know what I'm saying. I've given the presentation a million times, but this is a brand new presentation. So for me, during this call, I was freaking out. I was so not grounded. I was stressed. I was very vulnerable. I was like, she said, "Why are you pacing back and forth?" Because I was like, I was really stressed out. And she put me through this 5-minute guided visualization during that moment to get me centered on, okay, what's your vision? What's your intention? And when I went back to being grounded, I was able to be calm even in the stress. And so in the morning, I always start with that. I start with gratitude as well. So I'll get up and say thank you and say what I'm most grateful for, just to myself. And then I get up and I do something active for about 45 minutes in the morning. And then I go into making my bed and starting the day.
Rule number 3, develop a learning plan.
It's really important to develop a strategic game plan on what you're going to learn on a daily basis, how you're going to grow. That's surrounding yourself with inspiring people who can teach you something. That's reading books, listening to podcasts, watching inspiring videos or educational videos, taking on a new skill that you're going to be challenged by and you're going to see growth from and you're going to improve by. Some of the people that are happiest are the ones that are learning the most, the ones that are growing the most, the ones that are developing new skills, developing themselves as a human being. So figure out a way to develop yourself as a human being, to be more valuable to other people. And also depression and kind of that suffering thinking comes from we're only thinking about ourselves.
Rule number 4, give back.
Probably homeless people, when they're sitting there and not in service, they're probably feeling a lot of stress and a lot of insecurities and a lot of frustration. But it's the people that have the ability to give more, or just be in service more, or just pay attention more. Those are the ones that have the ability, and when they're not doing it, it's more focused on what I need. It's like, you have so much already, you know, just start giving a little bit, giving a little bit back.
Good book by my man, Evan Carmichael, Built to Serve. If you want to learn about your purpose and how to become a better leader in the world, I love this. He says, this is the starting point for everything. If you're confused about what to do next, if you're pressured by others to fit in or live their version of your life, if you feel held back because of people judging you, it's because you don't know who you are and what you stand for. You got to figure out who you are and what you want and how you can serve other people.
Rule number 5, overcome fear.
If human beings were able to create more contained challenges for themselves to overcome their inner insecurities, that's the greatest game you can play. Like, I used to play a lot of physical sports, but this is the greatest inner sport that you can play, is writing a list of your biggest fears and then giving yourself parameters and a time frame. So I did this with girls and I was like, oh, it worked. I feel confident I can say hi to people without being afraid. Then when I was 23, I did it with public speaking. I could not stand up in front of 3 people and say anything without sweating, without trembling. It was that crippling. And I know public speaking is a big fear for a lot of people. And I met someone who was a professional public speaker, and I said, tell me what I need to do to overcome this fear. He said, you need to join Toastmasters. You need to go every single week until you're not afraid. So I gave myself a year. I said, I'm going to do this every single week. I would film my speeches. It was horrible, but every week I would get better. And at the end of the year, I remember being able to speak in front of this group of 15, 20 people in the club and speak without notes, you know, remember my speech, give it with poise, give it with everything I needed to do. And I was like, wow, I'm not afraid anymore. And I've done that with salsa dancing. You know, for salsa dancing, I spent 90 days all in on salsa dancing. I was terrified that I could not dance, but I did the same challenge for myself. And I constantly do that. You know, I did this with opening up about sexual abuse. I was like, I'm terrified. For 25 years, no one knows this except for me. And I never thought I would tell anyone, but I knew I was cheating myself by not at least processing the healing, because it was something inside that was holding me back. And every year, luckily, I'm faced with challenges every year that force me to address my fears. It forced me to level up, to own my mistakes, to take accountability and responsibility and improve. And I think that's a beautiful thing of life, is like, I never want to be not afraid of something.
Rule number 6, be grounded.
Talk to me, what does that mean? Like, when you say grounded, I don't know that a lot of people understand.
Sure. It's grounded in my vision. So the first step for me of getting to the next level, whether it's getting my own apartment, hitting a certain amount of subscribers, making my company in a certain amount in sales, whatever the next level is, losing 20 pounds, it's being clear on that vision and getting grounded on why I want to achieve that vision. And I think if my vision is to make a lot of money, then what's the purpose of that? If it's just to make money, to attract women, or for credibility or whatever it is, then it's probably not going to be as a clear of a path. It's not going to be as smooth. Sure. When I'm grounded on my principles of why do I really want to make this happen? Why is it going to serve me, and how am I going to impact the most amount of people by doing this?
Rule number 7, be grateful.
For me, manifesting comes from first gratitude. For me, it's just everything it's so simple, but I just feel like it works. Gratitude is like my whole day.
I heard wake up in the morning and just say thank you.
Thank
and
you.
It really feels good.
Thank you.
That's it. The first thing you do, wake up. It's not look at your phone, look at
thank
Instagram.
you.
It's thank you.
Thank you for another day, and thank you for my parents for bringing me into this world, and thank you to my ancestors, because if they didn't have their life the exact way it was, I wouldn't be here.
So just that frequency of gratitude.
Thank you, I'm here, right? And I have another day. Any day, I just see so many people on the news who are like, yep, he just walked across the street and dead. You know, it's just like, you never know when it's our time. And we think we have till 100 and we're gonna peacefully die or whatever with our friends and family. It could be gone on my way back home today. And so I'm constantly focusing on gratitude and what I have as opposed to what I lack. So I think if you want to manifest something, you need to focus, be grateful for what you have as opposed to what you lack.
Rule number 8, protect your energy.
I've lost a lot of friends over the years in terms of when I just didn't feel like people were supporting my vision, or were trying to take me down, or were just always never said anything positive about what I was doing, or I felt like there was a sense of jealousy, or they didn't get me. I've had to just kind of distance myself from people. I never fully cut them out of my life, but I just distance myself, and I start putting my time and energy into people that are constantly smarter than me, that are leveling up, that are supportive, that believe in the vision. And by doing that, I just have less time for the people who have negative space in my life. Now, it doesn't mean I fully remove them, but again, I choose to spend more time with positive people who are going to support my mission and support me. Even though for the last 8 years, really my family still has no clue what I do. When people say, like, what does Lewis do? They really don't know how to answer it, but they've been so supportive over every moment of the last 7 or 8 years, and they know as long as I'm happy and taking care of myself and healthy, and they see me impacting other people's lives, that's all that matters to them. They're like, as long as you're in service in whatever you're doing and you're doing what you love, cool. So for me, I've been blessed and my family's been amazing. They've supported me. But if it's my friends or something from the past, I've had to kind of like cut some of them out and lose some friends, and some have come back years later and said, wow, I'm sorry that I was that way, and I'm sorry I was kind of a jerk, and I want to hang out again, and that's cool too. But people come and go, and you got to be committed to protecting your energy, protecting your vision, and not allowing someone else to dim your light. So don't ever let anyone hold you back from your greatness. Don't ever let anyone hold you back and tell you and give you negative energy. It's gonna suck the life out of you, and you're gonna resent yourself and that person. So it's up to you. It's your responsibility to shift out of that energy, or have a conversation with them and make a request, or just stop spending as much time with those individuals. If they're not lifting you up, if they're pulling you down, start hanging out with new friends and give them your time and attention.
Rule number 9, don't be limited by age.
And I remember when I was like 9 or 10, I was upset around my birthday time, and I was like, Dad, why don't we celebrate my birthday? Do you not love me? And my friends have, the kids in school have like birthday parties and this and that. They get cakes and balloons and presents, and I never got anything. And I was like, do you not love me? And he said, I love you very much, but I love you so much that I don't want to celebrate your age, because I never want you to be limited by how young or how old you are, because so many people that he knew would always say, I'm too old to do this.
Wow.
I'm too young to do this. I could never do this. My time has passed. And I was like, you can still buy me a cake, Dad. Like, take me out to ice cream. And he did. He just celebrated me in other ways. But that lesson has stuck with me because it was painful and it hurt me that it didn't happen for many years. But when I learned the lesson, I started to really appreciate and say, you know what? You're right. Like when I was an early teenager, I was like, screw it. I can be a varsity as a freshman. Like, who cares if these guys are 4 years older than me? I've been working harder for the last 4 years. I can play with these guys. Like, I never doubted myself and my abilities to have a shot at something.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is stand out.
I think a lot of these podcasters, you start, they launch something within 6 months, and then they get discouraged because they're not getting the download numbers. And it's just going to take time. I think there's over 500,000 podcasts out there right now. You've got to really differentiate why people should listen to you or watch your videos, whatever it may be. And why are you going to be that much more unique than the other 500,000 podcasts that are already out there? So if you're not figuring out what it is that separates you in the space, and your podcast isn't completely different than all the rest, then it's not going to be successful.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and you get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of following through. That's not enough. But when you write down what time, what place, and how you're going to actually take action on it, you jump to 91% chance of following through. And when you have public accountability and you commit to other people that you're going to do it, it jumps to 95% that you will follow through. So I want that for you, Believe Nation. I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
I think the challenge is a lot of people don't know what their vision is, and they don't know exactly what they want. They think they know, but they haven't really written it down they haven't told the world, or at least their close network of friends. They're just like, well, I'm supposed to have a good job, or I'm supposed to be doing something inspiring, but they're not specifically saying it and specifically being intentional about it. And I'm very specific with my vision. And that allows me to stay grounded because I know here's the direction I want to go. Now, it's not going to be a straight line. It would be great if it was, but no matter what comes my way, I'm able to say yes or no, or able to dictate where my energy goes because of the vision. If I don't have a clear vision in mind, and I may never hit my vision, you may never hit 10 billion in sales. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Sure. You can work towards it, but things may come up that you can't help, right? But as long as I'm grounded and moving towards it, I'm in control of my emotions. That's what I'm in control of.
Right.
And you're in control of yours. And as long as I'm allowing myself the permission to move forward with grace and make mistakes, then I feel comfortable with that.
If you want 10 more amazing rules from Lewis Howes, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
We want to be seen and acknowledged. It's what drives us. And yet it's a thing that few of us do for others. We don't acknowledge others.